Hello dear friends and welcome to today's video. We've been speculating for a few weeks now that once the SAG-AFTRA strike was resolved, The Mandalorian Season 4, which was originally scheduled to film in October, would be among the first projects to be impacted. And now we are almost completely certain. Today's video is all about that. The latest updates on Mando 4, as well as juicy fan theories just for you. So stay tuned. Following the settlement of the labor dispute last week, two of the show's principal actors have proposed a swift return to the set. The day following the announcement of the agreement between the actors and the studios on Thursday, Katie Sackhoff, who plays Bo-Katan, shared a photo of herself with her baby on Instagram while sporting the Bo-Katan wig. She essentially announced that she will return to the part in the upcoming season with her caption. It's kind of obvious, but it's also good to hear straight from the source. Brendan Wayne, one of the two stunt doubles who plays the titular character in The Mandalorian, shared a picture of the soccer team he coaches on Tuesday with the caption, "Only one thing is more exciting to me than the strike being over of Season 4 of Mando, getting ramped up that Season 2 of Coach Mando and the Lady Lancers." First spotted by Mando 3 updates, that and Katie's post was all the evidence we needed to know that the Manhattan Beach studio lot was once again getting set for filming. It seems improbable that they will accomplish this before year's end though. Firstly, it's generally better if everyone waits until after the holidays so they aren't forced to stop after only 2 weeks of work. In addition, they may need to cast supporting roles, which they were unable to do over the summer as planned. They may also require camera and costume tests for the actors that were already cast. Depending on how long they have to cast, a start date in February sounds reasonable. After all, behind-the-scenes workers like costume or set designers could have continued to work during the previous few months, possibly even without the supervision of Jon Favreau. And on something else that we're all waiting to get a confirmation for, numerous headlines that have been circulating online recently speculate that Pedro Pascal won't be returning for the fourth season. While we do not have any official word yet, it is very likely that this is false. It was all taken from an article published by Bespin Bulletin, which suggested that the actor will probably not spend a lot of time on the soundstage during production, as he still needs to wrap up Gladiator 2 and will be spending the first part of 2024 in Canada filming The Last of Us Season 2. Does this mean that Pascal will not make a comeback to The Mandalorian? Not really. If anything, Pascal was rarely, if ever, on site for Mando Season 3, as it was airing at the same time as The Last of Us. All the same, he continued to voice the character, so it's expected that that's pretty much how things will work from now on. Naturally, a lot relies on the plot and whether or not they demand that he be shown without a mask at any time during the fourth season. However, just like in the previous three, the majority of the character's time should be spent behind the mask. And since Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder handle the majority of the heavy lifting, they don't actually need the character throughout production. In actuality, not much will likely change from earlier seasons, and he will probably voice the character after production. And since I know you're curious, The Mandalorian Season 4 has not been given an official release date as of yet, but we anticipate it to air sometime in 2025. While we eagerly await, we have concocted some wild fan theories. But first, let's do a little recap of the Season 3 finale. This entails spoilers for Season 3, Episode 8, so if you haven't watched it yet, you might go consider doing that first. After Moff Gideon was killed off and the Mandalorian homeworld was reclaimed, the third season of The Mandalorian provided a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy, offering a compelling climax that started when Din Djarin first met Grogu. There are several speculations about the pair's next destination in Season 4 of The Mandalorian. In Season 3, Episode 8, the Mandalorians united and effectively retaliated against the Imperial Remnant who were holed up on their homeworld. Additionally, it was disclosed that Moff Gideon had plans of his own independent of other members of the Imperial Shadow Council. Following that, Din Djarin formally adopted Grogu as his son, and Bo-Katan Kryze led the reclamation of Mandalore. There's a lot of possible storylines for the future, with Djarin's new role working with the New Republic and the need for a new antagonist. Here are some of our theories for Mando Season 4. Helmets on, Mando crew, it's theory thrashing time in the galaxy. Din Djarin cut a deal with Captain Carson Teva of the New Republic, as seen in the final moments of The Mandalorian Season 3. Djarin promised to assist the overextended New Republic in locating other Imperial warlords in the Outer Rim by working as an independent off-the-books contractor. For example, in The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 7, Grand Admiral Thrawn's right-hand man, Captain Pellaeon, and Commandant Brandel Hux were joined by a number of unidentified Imperial Moffs on the Imperial Shadow Council. Just like Thrawn, in the wake of Gideon's demise, it would be thrilling to witness an Imperial Moff make the transition from legends to the official Star Wars canon and emerge as a new adversary for Djarin to contend with. Even while a canonical Zin or Yasmin Azard would be awesome to see, The Mandalorian Season 4's brand new Imperial might be just as compelling. In any case, the most plausible scenario appears to be Din Djarin and the recently christened Din Grogu hunting down a new Imperial warlord together. A popular theory on the internet is that Gideon survived and will make a comeback in Season 4 of The Mandalorian. Even though Djarin and Grogu destroyed Gideon's covert clones that he intended to make artificially Force-sensitive, there has been speculation that Gideon, wearing the Dark Trooper armor, was also a clone. It is said that only Gideon's clones were destroyed and that the actual Gideon was never in Mandalore in the first place. The fact that Gideon did not have a mustache in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, despite having one in Season 1 and 2, provides substantial support for this theory. Still, it appears to be quite a stretch. After all, the Moff's remarks that his clones weren't done and hadn't yet taken a breath sounded rather final, as did the destruction of the clones before the fight with Gideon in his new armor. Following Season 3, despite her genuine allegiance to the Imperial Remnant, Elia Kane is apparently still working with the New Republic administration. It makes sense that even as a spy for Moff Gideon, she could still find ways to obstruct the New Republic's activities in the Outer Rim. It would be fascinating to see Kane return and possibly learn of Din Djarin's unauthorized work for the New Republic in Season 4 of Mando. Kane is still in a unique position to pose a threat going forward, and it would be easy for her to sow discord between the Mandalorians as a whole and the New Republic. Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is not shown in The Mandalorian Season 3, was mentioned by Captain Pellaeon at the Imperial Shadow Council meeting. Pellaeon reaffirmed the military might of the Broken Empire and Thrawn's impending return. Though fans of the Star Wars can anticipate Thrawn's live-action premiere in the soon-to-be Ahsoka series, The Heir to the Empire, it will encompass far more than just one show. Thrawn's return, which has the potential to make him the main villain, might also lead to conflict with Bo-Katan and the Mandalorians, who must now protect their newly reclaimed territory. After all, Pellaeon had stated that the Imperial Remnant would face difficulties in reclaiming Mandalore. Grogu and the Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin may be the first to learn about the Imperial Remnant's actual intentions and extent, as well as their efforts to forge the First Order that will be revealed in the trilogy of follow-up films. The arrival of Brandel Hux and Praetorian soldiers has already alluded to the First Order, but The Mandalorian Season 4 may go even further. For example, further information on Project Necromancer and its likely connection to Palpatine and his resurrection would be highly persuasive. Maintaining the same concept of hinting to the sequels through the next seasons of The Mandalorian, it would be intriguing to see the Knights of Ren make an appearance. The canonical comments have confirmed that the Knights were active at this time, and it is known that they joined Palpatine's service shortly before the Return of the Jedi. Therefore, it would be awesome to see the Knights of Ren play a part in The Mandalorian Season 4, where they may receive some much-needed redemption. It would seem that even if Din Djarin and Din Grogu were destined for adventures outside of Mandalore, their fellow Mandalorians would still be important in the future. Under Bo-Katan's direction, Mandalore has entered a new era. Despite the destruction of the Darksaber in the third season finale of The Mandalorian, Mandalore still looks to cries for leadership now that they are all together and stronger than ever. In light of this, it would be pleasant to see Mandalore's continued development in addition to the arrival of powerful mythosaurs were hinted at in Season 3. Hopefully in Season 4 they rise from the depths to fulfill the old predictions, which saw the creatures as a sign of a new era for Mandalore and its people. Well, that's everything, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave a comment on your favorite theory. We're all waiting for Mando 4 to blow our minds with one of these, or even something we never imagined. But until then, may the Force be with you, always.